John Haynes was born in 1924 in Norfolk, Virginia. He was a World War II veteran, and he lives in Alaska. Because of the cold, his paints would traditionally freeze, which is what made him turn into writing. When that happened, it eventually grew into something bigger. Studied art and painting at the National Art School, American University, and Hans Hofmann School of Fine Arts. In 1969, after moving to San Diego, he taught at Ohio University, University of Cincinnati, and George Washington University. He died in 2011 in Fairbanks, Alaska. Awards and recognition. Named a Fellow of the Academy of American Poets, Amy Lowell Traveling Fellowship, Alaska Governor's Award of Excellence in the Arts, Lifetime Achievement Award from the Library of Congress. Harper's critic, Hayden Kirk, described Haynes as one of our best nature's poets, or, for that matter, the best nature writer.
Because of Haynes' experience in hunting, trapping, and surviving as a homesteader in Alaska, his poems are well known for their stark, spare imagery and evocative rendering of the brutal beauty of Alaska as a Western idea. He utilizes the five senses to convey sharp imagery of the northern wilderness, often describing smell to put the reader into the scene. He was most influenced by the late poet William Carlos Williams, whom he famously sent his work to amidst Williams' recovery from a stroke. Williams encouraged him to keep writing. Other poets like Wallace Stevens and Ezra Pound also inspired his verse.
Please turn to page 100. Sun gone from the evening sky, shadows reach on the plain. The lower men sought their pleasure, lay with it, gambled for it, drank it down like water, wept and cursed when it was gone. Murder and justice stained the floors and soaked into the streets. The cries of dead men lingered at high noon. The streets led out to hill and plain, men came and went and did not leave their names. Smell of dust and sweat and dung, the sound of booted feet on the boards. Our hoofs and wheels. The road winds west, the rider fades into the dusk. Moonrise in the east, yelp of coyote from the sage. Darkness of the plain, shadows and silence in the town. The wind rises from another morning where the rider goes.
Please turn to page 103. Across the Oregon Plateau, I saw strange man figures, made up from rivets and girders, harnessed with cables. Tall, electric, burning in the strong evening light, they marched into the sunset. Outstretched arms were bearing away the life of that country. Torch silence fell over the shadowy red buttes and sank forever in the town with one long street. They left behind the smell of sagebrush mixed with ashes, black bands of cattle quietly drifting, a dry lake filling with moonlight, and one old windmill, its broken arms clattering in the darkness. This quatrain describes red buttes, which is a type of mountain commonly found in the West, characterized by the reddish hue of the rock color. The town with one long street was referring to towns of the West, most not all having one long street down the middle that grants access to saloons, jails, and other buildings. The fourth quatrain puts on display Haynes' use of the senses, describing a smell of sagebrush, a plant typically found in the western desert, and ash, referring to fire. This poem most closely relates to Timberline, as we see a group of men traversing across a western landscape detailed throughout.
Ghost Town relates to high noon or tin star because we see a broken town looked back on.